Hello and welcome to Cafecito Break with the Perez sisters. I'm Rosangel Perez.
And this is Alex Perez. Blessings, family.
Wepa, we have a special guest for you today, Van Hall from the LFR family. ¿Cómo está? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, ladies. Thanks for having me. I look forward to this conversation.
Van, we have to, we like to make cafecito confessions right off the bat. And we just want to say that the Perez sisters are fans of your channel. And so when we're not doing our own production work, we're tuning in with our cafecito and checking out your reaction channels. And we laugh and we feel like we're part of the family.
Oh,
And sometimes we'll be chiming in on the comments. And everyone is so polite too in the comment section. So I just want to say thank you to you and thank you to the extraordinary community that you've built over there that we've gotten to be a teeny part of by witnessing the experience, by seeing all of the warmth that you bring to the space. We're living these very divisive times where and very opinionated at times, and people do have the right to their opinions, but sometimes I prefer and I'd wish that people could err a little bit more on the side of kindness, because I think that when we're a little bit more kinder and more respectful of one another, we can have better conversations. So we're really excited that we get the opportunity to chat with you today.
that's what's up, man. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I lead with God and family first. And I just recently added country because I didn't love my country before. I was extremely racist to anybody that wasn't black. And it was because that's how I was raised. I didn't have any white people or Hispanics anywhere in my neighborhood when I was growing up. And my family and friends, relatives, and associates and coworkers, they were just outwardly just against anything that didn't look like us. But when you got a family, you got to put love ahead of everything. So that's what I try to do, and I'm glad that you guys are a part of my community, and I'm glad that the community that I've been building is what it looks like today because it's is of no fault of my own. It's only because somebody prayed for me and things are working out to God's glory.
Wow.
Amen.
That's beautiful. That's a powerful testimony right there.
Oh, thank you. To
Thank
God
you
be
for
the glory.
sharing. That's beautiful.
And let's talk about that, because I think that obviously faith is not something that sometimes gets discussed with the most intelligence. I think that sometimes we see people arguing about who has more faith, yet, are they walking with it? Especially when it matters in those pivotal moments. Are you tapping into your toolkit when it's a difficult moment? And how do you work with faith in your life, and why is it so important to you?
It's so important to me because honestly, I joke around all the time that I'm a black man in America and it's difficult, but I'm being sarcastic actually. I just now did a video yesterday where I was talking about being a dark skinned black man in this racist ass country is actually amazing. Why? Because, and I named a whole bunch of things that are positive, and people were commenting, but what about systemic racism, but what about this, you should feel bad about this and this. I'm like, really, are you going out of your way so I can be pissed off at the country that I'm just now starting to love? Like, relax.
Don't undo my work. I'm doing good.
Exactly. But I also know this, if you lead with love and kindness, you'll receive that. And also, even though, we all do our studies and we all have our convictions when it comes to politics and our ideologies that we believe in, we still got to show some respect to other people and their ways of life because we don't know what their perspective is. We don't understand how they grew up or what they went through. We just like to like take it all together and say this group of people went through that, so they should be Democrats. This group of people went through this, so they should be Republicans. And that's just so nearsighted. We need to be much better than that.
100%. We agree. Shall we take it to the top?
Let's take it to the
Let's take it to
tops.
the top.
Let's
Okay.
take it to the tops.
For our community, we would love for you to just go back to the beginning when you first began your channel, and we'd love to know what was your intention or vision or motivation when you first began the channel, and throughout the years, has it shifted? Is it still the same? What
Well,
is it like now?
I absolutely love that question. The reason why is because okay, LFR Family is the name of my channel. People always ask me, what does LFR mean? Because it's not my initials. It just means likes, follows, and retweets. Why? Because that's it. That's all it means. And the reason why is because I saw people making a whole lot of movement on social media. Through Vine, through MySpace, through Instagram at the time, Facebook at the time, and I was wondering what exactly were they doing to get the likes and the follows and the shares and all these other things? Because I then realized people were making a whole bunch of money, but I said, do you have to be beautiful in order to get this? Do you have to be really creative or extremely talented or funny, extremely comical or just extremely handsome and fit in order to receive these things? I said, that can't be possible. It got to be something that you can figure out. So that's the only reason why I started my channel, to figure out how to trigger those
That's
points,
cool.
because I said, you know what? Likes, follows, and retweets are the new currency, because people are risking their lives. They were doing videos in the middle of the highway on skateboards just so they can go viral. They was doing ridiculous things out in the open just to go viral. And some people actually did die. So I said,
Yes,
I'm gonna go out there,
it's
learn
true.
these things, bring it back to regular looking people, whether you're white, black, young, old, it does not matter. Hispanic, Asian, it does not matter. And I'm going to bring it back. And now we've come full circle. I hit 1 million subscribers, and then I started a YouTube course. Thank
We
you.
got to clap that up. That's
That's right. That's
amazing. That's a
amazing.
huge feat.
But then
Congratulations.
I started a YouTube course, and I started showing people exactly what I set out to do in the first place, because God is not all about us just beating our chest and saying, yes, I'm so brilliant. Yes, my bank account is so fat and I'm driving the best car, living the biggest house, and I got the most beautiful women. Or for women, I got the most handsome and richest men on my line. No, it's about how you can help people out. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm showing them how to get the likes, the follows, the retweets as quickly and simply as possible without having to risk their lives, without having to feel like they're not beautiful enough or not handsome enough or not funny enough. And that's all I'm doing. So, my main objective at this point is just to help other people figure out this social media journey so that they can make money as well, because it has completely changed me and my family's life.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's admirable because, so many of us have grown up in environments that have the crabs in the bucket mentality as one aspect. And then for those people who maybe have lived through that, they're like, heck no, I've been already abused and tattered enough. I'm just gonna like go my way and live this way. And you're giving forward, you're teaching forward, and that creates more seedlings.
It does. It does. It's helping a lot of people. You know, one thing. Here's one thing. This is my own personal testimony, because honestly, I did not know it would work this way. It's gotten to a point where everybody that I work with, whether you don't even have a channel or not, or whether you've had a channel for years and can't break the 100 subscriber mark or 500 subscriber mark, when I work with people, they are reaching monetization in 2 weeks to 30 days.
Wow.
Zero from starting a channel brand spanking new, whether my wife names your channel or I do, or you make up some silly name, it does not matter. And I just give you some keys to follow, and you will reach 1,000 subscribers within 30 days of working with me. And it's not like I'm not bragging about it. It's just something that the Lord allowed me to do, because I've always been a performer. Ever since a little kid, I grew up in a really rough area in DC, Southeast DC to be exact. And something that I like to do was I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to get money, but I like to do it the legal way, like pumping gas, washing windows, taking
Mhm.
the trash out for my neighbors, going to the store for my neighbors,
Right.
like it's anything that was legal. And I still got that hustle spirit, but I'm still that. I still was in ministry where I sang and did all these other things, and I put it all together and said, "Yo, what can I do that will be able to put that same light on the average Joe or the average Jane?" And it's working. I love it.
It's amazing.
I mean, I see the way you light up as you talk about it. I'm pretty sure that the students that have been working with you have been receiving great gems. And so, for the creators that know us, take a listen. You might want to take Van's course too if you want to get monetized, because for some creators, that is obviously, or maybe I say for most creators, that's what they want to achieve, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Or they want an audience because
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. Something I realized this by speaking to my children and by coaching. Everybody has something to bring to the table. For some strange reason, when we're walking down the street and we see a homeless man or a homeless woman, we feel like they have nothing to offer. And we completely disregard the fact that they have a life that they've lived. They have family that they've loved and that loved them. They have experiences that they can share with us that we can, if we decide to go a different direction, we won't make the same mistakes that they made. Sometimes we like to judge people based off of their lifestyle or where they are financially, and we miss our blessing. And I'm realizing that every single person has someone to impact out there in the world. All they need is a platform.
I agree. I feel like everything and everyone is a
Mm-hmm.
lesson and a teacher in some capacity or the other. But to your point, if we are open to it,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like humbling to think about how many times any of us may have missed out on an opportunity to have learned something or make a beautiful connection
Right.
because of some bias that we were walking with.
You better teach. You see, you better teach and preach, young lady. What I'm talking about.
Van, and you know, when was that? Because in the beginning, when we started to speak, you said you've recently added country. That's a big one.
Pero
Pero, this could
we
be.
got this could be a
Espérate,
little scandalous
we are
now.
about to move into spicy territory,
Spicy
community
territory.
members.
Hold out. Woo.
Well, I recently added country because in 2000, when Barack Obama ran for president, it was the biggest thing since sliced bread. It was the
Hmm.
best thing to ever happen to the black community, since Dr. King and all these other people who were
Yeah.
standing up for the black community. And I voted for Obama, and I was a Democrat, and I started to pay attention to politics. Before then, I was burying my head in the sand, not paying attention. And I noticed that he was all about his business and the government's business, but not necessarily the people's business. He was trying to do it and get it done the way that he was getting it done, but it didn't come off to me like he was really about the people. So I ended up changing from a Democrat to a Republican, but I still voted Democrat. I voted for Obama for a second term. I voted for I voted for Joe Biden in the last, I mean, in the 2020 election, and I voted for Trump in the 20. My first time voting as a Republican was
Wow.
2024. Now, in the last 4 years, I was really paying attention, and I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This does not look right. Now, we have the means. The United States do have the means, and a lot of people might take this the wrong way when they see it, but I don't care. The United States have the means to take care of millions of people from around the world. Why? Because, in my opinion, we are the greatest country in the world. And it's not because we're the strongest military or the richest and wealthiest. It's simply because we have so many different people with so many different backgrounds who all contribute to the pot of helping other people. And when you look at the United States, it's built off of immigrants. It's built off of people who are from other countries who come here for a better life, and then they end up adding their sauce to it, their seasonings, excuse me. So I think that we have the ability to take care of as many people as possible, but when greed gets involved, you have people who are elected officials who completely disregard all human beings and only consider their own pockets and their fellow man who work alongside them, their pockets, and it completely messes up our country. So yes, I love the United States, but I also despise the United States at times because we are very selfish when it comes to that dollar, and we will sell our own moms to get rich. And I hate that.
Ooh, that is a very powerful response. I'm sure that, all of a sudden advocating for appreciating the country you live, did that come with a little bit of like, I don't know, abrasive vibrations from the sphere around you?
It did. It did. It did. It did because I all my friends, all my relatives, all my ex coworkers. Because YouTube, shout out to YouTube, they allowed me to be able to retire early from my federal government job that I was working for 17 years.
Wow,
But
nice.
Por lo
but
menos algo bueno.
but here's the thing though. I kick myself in the back pockets a lot for leaving that job because sometimes I was looking forward to these grandiose opportunities. If I do YouTube full times, could you imagine how much money I'll make, the contacts I'll make around the world? And I was right. I made a bunch of money. I made some great contacts, but who am I to say that the people that I was working with, I wasn't I was placed there to motivate and inspire and help and be a shoulder to cry on for those people that I left behind off of my own ambitions. So I'm not surprised by it because we are our ancestors and we actually act like our forefathers as well. So if this country was built off of racist, selfish white men, at some point, my own actions will reflect that. And I will no longer consider the love and the community that comes along with just living life and what God put us here for. My own ministry, I started looking out for myself, and I think that that was a bad thing. Although I'm appreciative where I am, Lord, thank you for all of my blessings. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praises will continually be in my mouth. My soul will make a boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. But at the same time, I acknowledge where I am wrong, and I did choose a dollar over my mission, and sometimes that kicks me in the butt. So yeah, I love the country that I'm in, and I try to do my best to acknowledge what everyone can do to contribute positively. But I used to look down on people who went to the military. I used to look down on people who hung up a American flag outside of their homes. I looked at that as racist. If I saw somebody driving down the street with an American flag hanging from their pickup truck, I automatically assumed that they was racist. Why? Because I do believe that this country was racist as hell and still has racist systemic ways of doing things. But because I am a son of God, I don't victimize myself. I don't oppress myself. I realize that the Lord put more in me to put out there in the world, and I can't just go about my day complaining all the time. So I'm in a constant conflict, you know?
I hear you.
Really don't know how to say it. I will say this, and I run my mouth a lot, but I'm gonna shut up after I say this part.
It's all good.
There's a lot of people on the right and the left. You started this off by saying this, and you're absolutely correct. We sometimes say too much because we feel like we're right, and we don't consider that that community love how they live. They love how they are with one another. And it's not up to us to just go in there and just start rearranging everything when that's how they live. I was watching a TV show called House of Lies, and it's about a consulting firm that go to business after business after business, and they tell them where all of their bottlenecks are, where they fail, and where we can make you better and make you richer. And they was contracted to go out to Cuba and figure out how can we bring big industry there, like put up malls and Starbucks and all this other stuff so they can make a bunch of money, hotels and whatever you can think of. And Cuba was just so laid back in their culture. Everyone's loving one another. Nobody's walking around with phones in their hands. They're always picking fruit and picking vegetables and going to weddings and just taking walks and out on the park having a good time. And it's just a completely different culture. But because we don't understand people's cultures, we automatically try to beat them in the head with ours. And that's where we're wrong. And we just need to understand one another and just communicate with love and consistency, and we will be better. But unfortunately, everybody got their pitchforks out and think that they're the right one. And that
Hmm.
just mess up everything. And I hate it.
Wow, no, those are
That's
terrific
true.
responses. I will say that, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I don't see anything wrong with, making money and protecting your family and putting toward your legacy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's beautiful. And also, we've seen time and time again how we think that wherever we've been, it's over. And sometimes, if it's something is unfinished, God will find a way to bring you back to, or
Yeah.
you'll wind up bumping into a coworker by mistake, and then all of a sudden, one thing
Yeah,
will lead to
that's
another.
true. And then plus, even if you never do bump into those coworkers, whatever influence or impact or ministry you were having or impacting over there, even if you weren't as conscious of it, you now have a platform where you are influencing so many more people. And sometimes things just evolve in a different way. And all we can do is learn the lessons, right?
You're right.
See how maybe we would have done something different looking back, but in hindsight, had you are where you are today because you did everything exactly as you did.
Yeah.
You, and most importantly, you have the awareness, which sounds to me like that's been one of your most bigger blessings, is the expansion that you've had along the way. You would have not had that in the same exact way had you not,
Hmm.
exactly the way it evolved. So, no matter what, sometimes we are our heart, not sometimes, a lot of times we are always our biggest critics. We can
Yeah.
be really tough on ourselves,
Yeah.
and sometimes we need to be, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like we also have to make sure we're stopping to celebrate all of our steps and lessons and impacts along the way. And it sounds like you've done a really beautiful things, not just with your own family directly within, but within you.
Hmm.
And now with this huge expanded community internationally, that's
Those are
pretty
all things to be
amazing.
proud and
Yeah.
celebrate. And we're squeaky wheels for things like that because, we see too many people who are like, they're an author and no one in the family knows
Or celebrates it,
or celebrates it
you
because
know?
they either think that, oh, this, it equates with this. I'm like, why does success equate with, oh, you've sold out? Like,
Right.
come on,
You're
this is
trying to be better, or
crazy.
you're trying to be white. Like it
I
always gets
Yo, I can't
associated with
even.
all of these labels.
It
And
does.
and even just going back to that a little bit, when we look at this country and we're thinking specifically about the younger generations. I
Mhm.
mean, this is something that we see across all ages, but just focusing on the younger generations because we want to prioritize them in this process. I mean, at least I do. There are so many kids that have been completely brainwashed to believe that, seeing a flag or even hearing the word freedom or feeling proud about where you live is just immediately negative or racist. And to your point, racism does exist.
Yeah.
There's awful and evil that does exist.
That's right.
No one can live in this life and deny that
Right.
either, right?
That's right.
But there has been a number done on our young really intensely. And what would you say, or is a remedy to that, or a way that we can start combating that? Because there's been so much damage. There has to be a way to undo it, or there has to be a way to start creating more perspectives, feeding more perspectives into our young, because eventually these youngins are going to be the ones leading this country in some way or
Yeah.
the other.
Honestly, and this is going to sound funny, but not funny like haha funny, but like weird. Um, I have no problem with how things are moving. All right, so let me just okay, let me okay. Okay, so let me just say this. So there's this historian, this black historian that I just learned about in my I don't know, my quest for knowledge on like live while doing it on YouTube, named Thomas Sowell. And he said there's an old adage that says when you're young, if you're young and you're not liberal, you have no heart. And if you're old and you're not conservative, you have no brain. What do you mean by that is when you're young, you want everybody to get love. You want everybody to be
That's
involved. I
true.
don't care how weird you are. I don't care how goofy looking or how whatever it is. We want you to get the love that you deserve. And that's what the youngins are. They're coming from that heart, that
Yeah.
young. We want everybody to be involved. If you say you're a woman, you're a woman. If you say you're a man, you want to be a cat today, you're a cat because we want you to.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to be involved, you want to play. You exactly, but when you get older, you become more conservative. Just think about it like money, Wiles. With money, if we spend liberally, we go broke. If we
Yep.
spend conservatively, we save and we our money makes babies because we invest it and it creates more money and more money and more money. So at the end of the day, they're going to learn their lessons through trial and error the same way we did. And that's the great thing. It's like I just think people just need to, and this is my biased opinion. I think people need to get a relationship with God. That's what I. But everybody's not religious, so I'm not going to
Hmm.
browbeat my religion onto people. But I think that when you have biblical principles or you have some type of principles that come from some type of religion, it teaches you to love first. It teaches you to have kindness first. It teaches you to move in a way that's conducive to a loving society. I think naturally things will work themselves out. You threw something at me just now that kind of it kind of pinched my heart a little bit. Meaning that it said, Van, why are you so hard on yourself? When I was talking about my job and leaving and that could have been my mission and blah blah blah. You was like, well, you're on a bigger platform now. You're reaching more people now. You're doing this and you're doing that. And you're absolutely right. Because God don't make no mistakes. And I listened and I moved and some things happened, good and bad. And now we're here. I wouldn't be having this conversation with you guys if
So
I had not
true.
left my job.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You
Wepa.
know?
Can
God is
we hear a
good.
wepa for that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I will say this though, and y'all gonna have to tell me what wepa mean. What would wepa mean?
It's like, a phrase that gets used in celebration, like when you
Okay.
want to like
I
make a point extra.
I bet wepa.
We're a
Wepa.
little obsessed with the word, as a
And yeah,
people. So this is why you always hear it everywhere.
some of these
Wepa.
stereotypes are true.
Well, hey, listen, I love it. I love it. Your culture is amazing, and I will say this though: the one thing I wish people stop doing. This is the one thing I wish people stop doing with these young people, feeding them negativity that they have yet to experience for themselves. Just because their ancestors went through slavery, don't mean that you're oppressed. Just because they know somebody in the news that was pulled over by the police and beaten and it didn't go the right way and they just happen to be black or brown, don't mean that you will go through this. And it doesn't mean that all police are bad. For some strains, we need to understand that these young people's brains don't fully develop until they're 25 years old. And when we're constantly feeding them negativity, that's what they will think this world looks like, period. And that is dangerous because we just now saw this at a HBCU. Three guys with MAGA hats, and I know when you see that MAGA hat, people just go crazy off top because
Yeah.
They
of what,
do.
yeah, what it represents to them based off of what they're spreading to their communities. But it don't always represent negativity. It really does not. Just like the Black Lives Matter does not always represent negativity
Right.
nor positivity. It depends on what you're going to do with it. When Black Lives Matter had a huge parade in downtown DC, I was down in that daggone middle of the parade with my two daughters with my fists in the air. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Say his name. Say her name. We was in it. it was a vibe, it was like we were a part of something real. But then when you look at the organization and how they was taking all of this money from everybody but not pouring it into the community that they claim to represent, but yet they were buying huge homes and huge cars and employing their brothers and sisters, paying them 800,000, 600,000 with the money that people were pouring into them to help the black community. That's when he was like, all of this is cap. All of
Yeah.
this is a lie. It's just ridiculous. But to your point, okay, the young people, we just need to stop feeding them negativity. We need to start feeding them the real, but we need to also lace it with love. And until we do that, we're doing it wrong. So, yeah, I think that the older people should be held responsible for how these younger people are being brought up.
Yeah.
We agree. I mean, we used to have a small metaphysical business in Williamsburg for about 9 years, and a lot of the people that walk in were young people, and they taught us so much. Right? Sometimes there was difficulty even striking up a conversation or looking in the eye. One time there was a young person that was working through so much anxiety that it took that person about an hour just to work up the conversation point.
Wow.
And I was surprised that it was a Saturday and no other customer had walked in. And I realized God is good because God is holding this container so that this young man can express himself. And time after time, what we would discover, unfortunately, is that there was traces of either something that they felt very emotional or unstable about, or maybe there was some abuses, or
Yeah.
there were maybe there was somebody in their life beating down messages over and over and over, whether it's you have to add more to your schedule,
Right.
or we unfortunately also had teachers who, they were so proud that they were teaching inner city students and that they're teaching all of them that they're marginalized.
Wow.
And to the point where one of her gloating points was, and then there was this white student who didn't think he was marginalized. I was like, no, papi, you're marginalized too, because what's your blah blah blah? And I'm like, this is it's those moments where you're like, am I
Like,
in
what's
the
going on?
Truman Show? Am I getting punked by Ashton Kutcher? Be like, what's going on
Yeah, it's
here?
true. That's actually how life has been feeling here in this country. You're almost like, are we gonna get like a massive countrywide? Hey, you all got punked. It's been a great 10,
It's
15 years.
laugh it off.
Woohoo!
But I want if that's been the truth, I want presents and I want a whole lot of reparations
Exactly. Listen,
for all of this, for all of us, for
for all of us.
humanity, for all
For all of
humanity,
it.
for that big psyop.
Absolutely. Sometimes it does think like it feels like it's all made up and they're just running a science project on us, and it's unfortunate. But you know what? If it comes out that we are actually, a part of some type of project, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I will let you know this. That's one of the only reasons why I stay so positive is because you can only control what you can control. So why worry about the things that you can't? You know what I mean? It's like I don't trust the government. I don't trust the Republicans. I don't trust the Democrats. I don't trust the independents or prospect. What you call them? What they call themselves?
The libertarians or
The
Yeah, those
the
progressives.
guys.
progressives, the socialist
Yeah,
progressives.
yeah, them, the progressives and all these different names, whatever the case may be. Everybody works for a team. That's
Yeah.
it. And they want the other team to lose. Me, I want the other team to win. I want the other team to be right. If you're right and it helps everybody, I don't care if you're opposite of what I voted. I want you to be right. If it works for us, if it will make us a better country, if it will make us more loving, less shootings, less killings, less stabbings, less rapings, less all these things. Like at the end of the day, I don't give a damn about whether or not the government is run by a Republican or a Democrat. I can care less. I want us to be good. Like, can our lifespans extend 10 years instead of going backwards 10?
Yeah.
Like, can we live to be 70 versus, going toward just dying off at 60, because right now people aren't having babies, they're not marrying each other. And then when you go online and you look at throughout social media, it's like they're having these young people are having these weird conversations and debates of whether or not it's a good thing to be in a relationship versus just having babies out of wedlock. Just, okay, I got one baby daddy, two baby daddy, three, four, five. And I'm not hating on people that got multiple baby daddies and baby mothers. I'm not hating on y'all. All I'm saying is there's a right and a wrong way to do things. And I will also say this, and this might sound weird. There's no right way. There's no right way to do a wrong thing. Period. I don't care whose blueprint you follow. There is no right way to do a wrong thing. Why? Because karma will come back like a boomerang and hit you in your ass.
Oh, yes, it does. From your perspective, do you think that politics has gotten too deep in sacred relationships, or has like impacted at home? Like, so from where we are in New York, we see that, and we would say yes, but everyone lives in different places and they see slightly different things.
Could you explain that a little bit more? Gotten into secret relationships.
No, what, like, for example, politics, right? Has it gotten into the sacredness of
Oh, the
relationships?
sacredness of relationships.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Within the home,
Or
Absolutely.
family?
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's because, and I'm, okay, it's because people like to root for a team. Now, the Democrats, for some strange reason, are completely going against Christianity because they want to take up for whoever they want to take up for. Going against Christianity is going against biblical principles. And the biblical principles say that there should be one man married to one woman, and that's how they should have their babies, the nuclear family. But they're painting it as a Christian nationalist type of way of doing things. Like they're trying to do what they did during slavery when they browbeated us with the Bible, saying that a slave should obey his master and all those things. So they're like, no, we're walking away from Christianity. What that does is they're teaching their people like you don't have to be in a relationship to be happy. If your man don't respect your values, leave him. Like Michelle Obama literally said that. If your man is voting for Trump, he don't love you. And she's literally breaking up the families and households because there were so many black women, especially, getting online, and brown women getting online saying, you know what? You're right. If y'all men are not for women's rights, then we don't need to be with y'all. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This
Right.
is breaking up families. This is breaking up relationships. This is breaking up that sacred. We need to love each other and support each other. Whether we agree or not, we are here for one another. This is something that I talked to my wife about. I told her and my children, because I have two children, my youngest two, who are Democrats. I mean, they liberal, they young, they want everybody to be loved and be involved. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. Go for yours. You want to stand up for it? Put your fists up. Go. Yes, I love it. And my wife, when you go into her office, you see all the Michelle Obama books and the Barack Obama books and the Kamala, let's go Kamala, and all that other stuff. So me and my wife, we were at odds for a long time about me voting for Trump. So then I had to have a conversation since I'm the head of my household. I said, yo, we need to sit down. All of us, we need to have a family meeting. And he was like, all right, fine. What is this about? I said, we're not going to be them sucker ass families out there. And they was like, what that mean? I said, just because we disagree politically, don't mean that we got to stop speaking to each other, that we got to be disrespectful to one another, that we got to just disregard what you say because I'm not on your team. No, we're a family because we love each other.
Right.
I don't think that you would send me down the wrong way purposefully, and you know that I wouldn't. So as long as we lead with that, we will be fine. After that conversation, we have been good. We actually debate in the living room now. As a matter of
Uh-oh.
fact, and I don't know if y'all remember, but around the holidays, people was like, "You can't even talk about politics anymore because as soon as they find out that you voted for Trump, they just jumping on you." And like, nah, not in my house. Not in my house. We make
Ooh.
jokes about it. Like I say, we'll be cooking some food, and my wife will say, "Sorry, babe, but the ribs gonna be a little longer because I started a little late." I said, "Man, you need to make cooking great again." She said, "I hate you. I hate you. Don't be saying stuff like that in my house."
I could see the hats now. Make cooking great again, and then there'll be the war. Then I could see the guys saying, guys are always typically the better, make with the better chefs. I can't.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, ladies, I put it to you like this: what we allow to go down the hill and get worse, will go down the hill and get worse.
Oof.
But what we actually try to protect and preserve, like we pull our fellow man to the side and be like, yo, you hate Trump? Cool. You have a right to. I think he's cool. I think he's doing a right job. But that don't stop us from playing ball together, playing chess together, having a good conversation, going to the store, talking to the ladies together, going to the movies. It don't stop us from still being friends because we have a political disagreement. It doesn't. And as soon as we come off of that, yo, you should see my family's face, man. I me and my and I know I talk a lot, but I just
No,
want to
we're
say
enjoying
this
this.
one
This
thing
is fine.
because I in DC and just like New York, it's mostly Democrat. It's mostly Democrat. So I went to a comedy show and to a restaurant with my bigger cousins, all men, and all of them voted for Kamala. All of them hate Trump, and none of them pay attention to politics. They just go off of what they hear sparingly off the internet and the news and stuff like that. And here I am. We got into this big Sprinter van. We did our thing. We rented this real big Sprinter van, so we ain't got to drive. We was able to drink and
Smart.
go to the spot and just pull up like we big dogs. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
And and the whole time we inside the truck, they was like, "Man, I can't believe you voted for Trump." I said, "Man, all of y'all claim to be gangsters, but none of y'all hate Trump. I mean, none of y'all like Trump, who is the biggest gangster that we had running this country in a long daggone time. Tell me I'm wrong." They was like, "Yeah, you right, but still, man, when he do this, he do that, he do this, he do that. So what? He doing it for the betterment of the country. And if it don't work, we'll choose another president. Get over it. Y'all sound like some beef is what I said because I'm the type of person that here's the thing. I'm the type of person that I don't mind throwing hands. I'm not going to be no sucker in front of no audience, but I'm leading with love. I don't think we should have to. I don't think we should have to pull hats off of people's heads because you don't like this red and white. It don't even have to say MAGA. It could say, "I love the Lord." As long as it's red and white, you pulling it off your head and throwing it on the ground and getting all upset. If you allow somebody to trigger you that much, they have control over you. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? No one, no man, no woman, not even my wife, not my children, no one has control over me but the Lord. And that's how I will continue to move.
Yep.
Wow, that's really
That's right
powerful.
there.
Thank you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Goodness gracious. That's a terrific response. I wish more people would have integrated that because it's okay to have different point of views. Like, my sister and I, we've worked together for so many years, and one thing that we constantly tell people is that we're very different human beings, very different temperaments. We're signs at the end of like the zodiac. Like we really are. So then what is this? This is a balance of two people who are very different, accepting the other as they are with their quirks,
Yeah.
as they are, without trying so hard to be like, you have to say it like this. I was triggered that you said it that way, you know.
Yeah, and and with that comes, I mean, it has to come from you, but understanding that you got to develop your boundaries too. And just like what you're saying, a very big and important boundary is no one should have that sort of power over you to take you off your kilter
Absolutely.
to the levels that we see almost every day, especially in blue cities across this country. And yeah,
Absolutely.
relationships that takes time is not always easy to do, but it is doable.
Yeah, we gotta like make it sacred again, folks. There's too many people fighting in very sacred family ships and friendships and colleagues that are no longer colleagues anymore, just because, oh, I think you voted this way, but who cares? You know, just like I don't care what you do in the privacy of your bedroom. I care how you show up according to what we're working on, right? If we're working on a play, what does your politics
Right.
and your sexual preferences have to do with us
Exactly.
In
acting
the
in the play
moment.
together, for
Right.
example?
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? It's first of all, I want to say this. Whenever I see two siblings getting along the way that you guys do, yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely amazing. My thing for people is, do you want to protect women and children? Do you love women and children? If your answer is yes, we can rock. Like I rock with you, period. Like it's because that's what it's all about. Like, do you love your fellow man? Yes, then I can rock with you. What you do, like you said, in the privacy of your home, that's your business. As long as you're not victimizing women and children, we are straight. If you're victimizing women and children, I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're Elon Musk. I don't care if you're Obama. I don't care if you're Jay Z, Beyonce, whoever. I don't like you. And if I get close to you and I know that you're doing this, I'm going to attempt to whoop your ass.
Fair. Fair.
That's, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying, man. I just think that, honestly, I think none of us are perfect.
No,
So
that's
why do
true.
we always try to throw that on other people to be perfect? You're not perfect. And the
Right.
government is not perfect.
It's an
Our
impossibility.
And everyone we've ever looked up to isn't perfect either, right? Like how many times there's this teacher you like, or we have YouTube teachers throughout the years that, sometimes people pivot and it's okay. It doesn't mean you throw the entire thing away.
yeah,
No, that person still taught you something.
Right.
We can learn valuable lessons from the drug dealer down the street, for
facts.
Exactly.
example, right? Like there's things that people can teach you from their vantage point, because as you stated, everybody's walking a unique journey, and no one is less than anyone else.
And two things can both be true at the same time.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's
You know.
true. That's really
Facts.
true.
Facts. I'm glad you said something about the drug dealers because, when I was coming up, we had a lot of them in my family. And we used to love to do bad things. I just never picked up guns and I never picked up drugs. I mean, well, I smoke weed. I still smoke weed. I'm just going to put that out there on the record. But I, I just never sell. I just never wanted to sell it. But I will say this, drug dealers. Drug dealers are some of the smartest street businessmen in the world. When you think about what they do, you can look at somebody who would sell drugs, get arrested, come out 5 years, 5 years after serving some time for anything or criminals. Period. Will serve some times, 5, 10 years. They will get out and be out for a year, and then you'll check in on them, and they done started a business. They're already making great moves. I mean, legal moves. They're doing some great things because they had some time to sit down. They still businessmen. They're still hustlers. They're still fearless, and they come out here and they do what most people, citizens, are afraid to do because I just got to wake up 8 o'clock in the morning and go to this job. I
Yeah.
depend on them to feed me. Come back home at 6 o'clock, fix dinner, do the same thing over and over. And I'm not pooping on that. I'm not, because even that's a beautiful life. Even that's a blessing to have a job, a career, and a family to take care of. But when you become robotic and you believe less and less in yourself, you become the perfect individual to receive that propaganda that the government wants to feed you whenever they want to move left or right. If they want to shift, they will feed the masses of the ignorant people who are stuck on stupid and have no desire to better themselves and are willing to let the government lead them wherever you want us to lead. And you're not going to lead me off no cliff. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. Like, that's just it. Like, it just is what it is. I don't trust them enough to allow them to lead me like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We agree. I mean, this is why we were fighting so much with even our own Puerto Ricans in the community, because we were like, hello, like young lords believed in 2A. We have these great Puerto Ricans who did not trust the government. Puerto Rican women were experimented on through the birth control pill. So when a certain situation came in 2020 and people were like not questioning it, it's sort of just, and then getting very angry and poisoning towards other people. Like, and that's the thing that, I always say, like, the time dictates how people maybe can move in different ways. And something that I like to always say, and they're not my words, but like, rise to the occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rise to the occasion. And there's a lot of young people who are looking towards folks like you, maybe like us, like anyone who's just in a position that may can share some wisdom, because they're seeing a bunch of adults in leadership or mainstream media mouthpieces, and they're behaving like big children. And then they sit there and they criticize the young people, but there's so little accountability. And I think that human beings are tired of looking around and no one's taking accountability. It's beyond saying I'm sorry, because the apology culture has also gotten a bit too much, right? Like, oh, I'm so sorry I
Yeah.
said this, and I'm so sorry I said this. I'm so sorry
Yeah.
I looked at you the wrong way. Like, it's being like, I like what you said, be yourself. We're all humans. And we're
Yeah.
trying to be better.
Just
Yes. You know what? I'm like this. Look, if I offend you, but I was leading with good intent, I'm not apologizing. Like, if you got offended by something I said, but I know I wasn't trying to offend you, that's your business. You need to go work on yourself. You need to
right.
pray to become stronger emotionally. Like, your emotional intelligence is just not that. It needs to increase a little bit more, just in my opinion. But at the end of the day, if I do realize that I have to apologize in order to make certain moves with you, or just bring you to a point where we can have a conversation, whether I know that I shouldn't have offended you or not, or I wasn't trying, sometimes I would bite the bullet and say, you know what, my bad, man. You all right? You good? You straight? All right, can we move forward? Cool.
Right.
Let's go.
This,
Because sometimes that's necessary, because everybody's not the
Yeah.
same.
That's true.
you touched on something that is a rarity. People owning up to things and saying I'm sorry, and maybe also even forgiving, right? That's a big one,
Big
right?
one.
A big one.
Tell me
That
about it.
And also just, understand, remembering, understanding that, on this journey called life, we only know when we know. So as
right.
Facts.
we're, walking life, the prayer is that you are prioritizing your self-care, you're prioritizing your just growth in general of all capacities. And you know what, when you need to course correct, that you are able to do it and move forward.
Right, and do it with gentleness, not like, listen, you stupid fuck. You said the wrong thing again. No, course correct. Like, our one of our favorite teachers always would say, be gentle with yourself. Be
Yeah.
gentle with yourself.
Sometimes people don't want to accept that people can change and grow.
Yeah.
But that's actually the point of life, right? We're supposed to be growing and
Listen,
changing,
you're right.
evolving.
You're right. Like, y'all are so dope, man. And I'm sure y'all have enemies for some strange reason.
Ay, Dios mío.
But at the end of the day, it's like, but why? Because my whole point is to try to make this world a better place. But you're right. Like, and you really touched me on when you said we need to forgive more. Guys, I'm gonna let you know this. Whoever sees this, before you can forgive anyone, you need to forgive yourself. You
Right
need to
there.
forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Like, all the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I
Yeah.
should have been this. I should have been that. You're comparing yourself to other people, and you need to stop doing that. Period. Just stop. Just thank the Lord that you have another day to get it right.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord
Amen.
for that.
Amen.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Today could be the miracle you've been waiting
That's right.
for,
Could
made
be today.
manifest. Don't stop now. Keep
absolutely.
going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You ever talk to somebody on a Monday morning? You be like, good morning. They was like, oh, it's Monday. Get off.
Mhm.
What? What if you didn't wake up on a Monday?
Yeah, yeah.
What
Yeah.
now, if you didn't wake up on a Monday, what do you think your family would have went through? Your friends would have went through? Your coworkers? Oh man. He died in his sleep. She died. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Your church, your community, like, stop being so selfish, thinking about yourself all the time. Just realize when I woke up this morning, because I had a rough night last night, man. I went to sleep late, was had a whole bunch of stuff on my mind, didn't really sleep that well. And when I woke up this morning, I had a small point where I was like, "Oh man, it's time to get out to bed." And I said, "Really, man? Really, nigga?" I mean, excuse me, my bad. I said, "Really, bro? Like, thank you, Lord, for waking me up. Get up out the bed. Let's go.
Go.
Let's get it."
Cue in the merengue. At least that would be in my household. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Oh, for real?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we definitely music is very a daily thing for us.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah, let's
go.
go.
Music is medicine, and I think that's something the world can hopefully agree on. In
Yes.
every culture, right? Music has always been not just for celebration, but healing, and it's medicine. It's energizing. It can penetrate through anything, and it's that universal language.
It
Well,
really is.
since you said that, can I ask you one question, both of you guys? Bad Bunny. A lot of people now, you said music heals and music, it's Bad Bunny. A lot of people on the right are saying, well, he's trying to feed the gay community, and he's not a good person for the kids to be in front of the stage, and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. What do you guys think about that?
Well, we tell people that this is very layered and
Yeah.
nuanced. So our responses are going to be from many multiple perspectives, keeping
Yeah.
in mind that we're independent, our background is music, television, and also that we as human beings are Republican, right?
Right.
So it is a little bit nuanced. We love Bad Bunny's songs, not all. He made his last album, which kind of dedicated to the Puerto Rican community, and it was pretty much like a homage, not just to the island, but some of the Puerto Rican greats. As an artist, he's done what maybe any artist could maybe dream when it comes to like thinking about what I have access to and what through my team I can create to benefit people. Now, in terms of the Bad Bunny effect, there have been people who've benefited just from the visuals of his albums alone. Like, I recently traveled to Puerto Rico, and all these people had their little like chairs up again, like the little beach chairs everywhere in these random places.
Mhm.
His cover is two little chairs, so you would see the two little
Oh,
chairs in
wow.
different settings on the island. You would see these people coming out of the airplane from different parts of the world, coming onto the tiny island, and they had their little straw hats already, and they were so happy. They felt like they were a part of this globalness. So yeah, he speaks only Spanish, but we were surprised because we've been in very conservative Republican spaces where a party lights up and you have white college girls singing "Yo quiero Bad Bunny, Titi me preguntó." So the whole thing that he's not crossover, maybe people are not familiar with him, but he is one of
Yeah.
the biggest international artists now. So then that's that side. The other part is there is some conflict with him. He is living in the United States, from what I gather, enjoying the fruits of capitalism,
Right.
while his music and maybe when he gets a little political seems to promote either Puerto Rico independence, but he's also aligning himself or maybe funded, right? This all these little things by people who have Marxist socialist kind of leanings.
Right.
So it's very complicated. Then we have that he's a music industry artist. What do we see with music industry? They tend to compromise in some way something. Now,
Usually under contract that they
usually
don't have
under
a choice
contract. Now,
on.
whether or not he's doing it because it's because of something he got contracted to do, or what we tell people is you have to also see the isness. The isness is that there is a large LGBTQ community, is a large trans community, and they love his music too. I see this as follow the money. You
Right.
know,
Right.
in terms of why people are upset with terms of like the Super Bowl and him saying I don't like America, or I would not play in America. I can understand why people feel disrespected. And is he the fit for Super Bowl? I don't know, but Jay-Z's the one that. So let's talk about Jay-Z and all those other decisions then.
I think
Wow.
that he's the perfect. I don't need to add anything else. She essentially kind of checked them all off. But essentially, I'm just gonna, just kind of go back to what I said earlier. This is a perfect situation of two things can be true at the same time. So he has both brought a lot of wonderful things to the music, the culture, and he is also both bringing a lot of confusion and controversy. So kind of doing both at the same time, and like she said, very nuanced. And yeah, you just at the end of the day, you can't take it personally. You can't get too low, like you were saying earlier. Like,
Bunch.
yeah, you can't like look at any one situation. It's like you were saying, the moment you allow
Yeah.
something to get you too much, it's already crossed you're taking too much power from you.
Right, right.
You got to learn to look at things with, okay, some sort of space, whether you agree with it or not. And
Yeah, as you saw by my response, Van, I have thought about it a little bit. You know why? Because the other day I made I think I put up a less than 30-second clip. I said like two words, and people were responding like all these sentences and sentences, and I'm like, oh, this is charged up. So my sister and I have spent some time preparing because we're wondering if we need to make a statement, and maybe we kind of did.
yeah, but in the end, because we have so many, we've been a part of so many worlds, it really has blessed us with different perspectives. So we don't look at the situation and just see black and white, or just fall right into the controversy that's being fed to us, which, everything gets weaponized too. And that's the other thing I would say, that we're living in times where the moment it gets a little bit too all over the place, social media, news, something got weaponized for some other reason. So if they want us distracted over here, what is it that they're taking us away from?
Right.
So
What's
I
going on
always
in the
like
world
to,
that we're not paying
exactly.
attention
So
to?
that's the other thing that my sister and I keep talking about. It's like, okay, it's blown up. That's not normal. Okay,
Yeah.
to these
Because
levels,
everybody's just like, come on,
not
everything.
normal. It's normal if it's
How
in
is
a
he
niche
on our feed
community,
everywhere? Like we don't
everywhere.
post about Bad Bunny like
Right.
this.
But he's in places where he normally would have never been, which is the more, weirder situation, and therefore more proof that, they're distracting us once again.
And
Per usual.
monies. There's monies. People are not stupid. JC is not stupid. He's a
At all.
huge international artist. So even if all the Americans are not plugged in, clued in, I didn't know, and I was one of those people catching twos. Like, who the heck is this guy? And then I did my homework. I started reading up and looking at some documentaries, and your worldview will expand with more information. That's what happened when Trump too. People were talking so much crap about him, and we're like, oh, we've got a podcast, let's do some research. And then we started doing some research, and then we were like, wait, this kind of doesn't fit in what the people over here are really angry about. But what we were a little bit naive to is like, hey guys, guess what I discovered? Oh, you're one of those people. You've
Ah,
become
you're
a
not.
Trumper.
Yeah.
You've become a Trumper. I'm worried about you.
And then the ultimate thing happened. We got scarlet lettered,
Till this day.
and that's it.
Bendito.
You get, just kind of, you get the T letter, and everything and anything you do is just that.
Oh, wait,
So
but wait. This is funny because there's a little symmetry here. So in November, we went to MSG when Trump was there, and I had no idea that this would blow up so much with the joke that was heard around the world.
Yeah.
But there we are, like we are little stinky Puerto Ricans. So they went there with two Puerto Rican hats,
Oh
right?
Lord.
Not the MAGA hats, right?
Yeah.
So we're popping out of MSG feeling like we just came out of a New Year's Eve celebration, right? It was because it was really amazing up in there. And who do we bump into? We bump into Lou Valentino. Oh my God, the
Shout out to Lou.
perfect.
Shout out to Lou.
So he was on Alive. We were feeling alive because we were coming. So we weren't really measuring everything. Anyway, he tells us, ladies, if we can ask you some questions. So there we are with a little Puerto Rican hats. And he asked us questions. What do we think of the joke? And we said, we like jokes. We had no idea that making that terrible statement would get us in so much trouble with the Puerto Rican community the very next day,
And you like jokes.
just by saying we like jokes. And we both said in that little clip that went viral, 2.5 million, that we didn't like the joke that he said. That had he known that New York City was so full of Puerto Ricans, he would have known that that would not have landed in NYC.
We literally were was just defending, free speech and comedians. Just
But people were in our comments saying that we were traitors. They told us that they wanted us to die of fentanyl, all this
oh,
stuff.
we got called everything you could think
Hundreds and
of.
hundreds of comments.
All these threats, like it was absolutely insane. Yet there we were, we were called all of these things. Yet there we were, the one hat we chose to wear in a sea of people wearing either red, white, and blue or MAGA hats. We were there representing Puerto Rico because
Because
although
yo soy boricua, para que tú lo sepas.
exactly, and even though we were born and raised here and we love our country, but we also love our ancestor country, and we've never been apologetic about that. And so there we were, and
Wow.
yet, yeah, we woke up to a lot of hate for the next few weeks.
Has
So
that
yeah,
gotten better? I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that there are some people in the United States that are still learning that Puerto Rico is part of the United States, and so when they were saying that Bad Bunny should be deported, I'm like, guys,
Guys,
you got to
Just
do a little
ridiculous.
bit of
little
lessons, a
geography, a little
little,
history.
come on, understand this a little bit.
And then
So
also the fact that people were also very upset that he would be singing in Spanish, but Puerto Rico is a part of the US and it is a Spanish speaking country. Is it really that far fetched that a Spanish speaking artist from there, from this country, would perform in Spanish too? Also, especially when there's a huge rise in Spanish people in the country anyway. So, yeah, again, things are getting weaponized a little bit too much. And so, my sister and I were always like, folks, don't get lost in the sauce. Just don't get lost in any sauce because
yeah,
there's always a bigger and deeper reason or motivation for it, a different agenda.
and ultimately, it's like to what you said, Van. We're all here in this planet together. We don't really have to like each other, but
Facts.
we can just at least try to be respectful.
That's it.
And with the Bad Bunny situation, because there's so many different temperatures on whoever wants to share an opinion, what I will say is we can use this moment to educate people and fill in those holes, like, Puerto Ricans, that you know your history so well. Explain to the Americanos here in the United States why the Puerto Rico has such an abusive relationship with the United States, so that there could be understanding. But when we're doing it with vitriol and we're doing it with FUs, that doesn't go anywhere. And again, that circles back as to Van, why we have been so delighted to be speaking with you today. We don't want to take any more of your time up, but we do hope that we can share another conversation with you in the near future. Is there
Absolutely.
is there something that we haven't asked you, or that a message that you'd like to communicate with our audience, or from what you feel is important to share?
I think I've said enough. I've been talking my ass off. No, but I will say this though. You young ladies, and I don't know your age, don't want to, but I think you guys are dope. I think y'all are
Thank you.
absolutely phenomenal, and I pray that you continue to do what you're doing. You're tasked to do something bigger than many people, probably even yourselves, don't even understand how big it is. And I think that as long as you keep your foot to the pavement and keep going, y'all are going to impact so many people. Because as you know, and you just now said this, a lot of people in the United States are not very smart because they actually believe that Puerto Rico is a completely different country outside of the United States, and they want to deport one of our own daggone artists to Puerto Rico, which is can I say retarded?
Yeah.
All right, but I will say this: you guys are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you again for having me on, and for anybody that want to learn how to do content creation and whatnot, I will say go to YouTube University. Look at free videos. You don't need a coach. You don't need a course. You don't need anybody to, get into your pockets. You can learn anything you want on YouTube by simply asking a question and it will show you. Also, stand on your convictions. You believe something, stand on it. If you love your culture and you love who you are, stand on it. Fight for what you believe in. Like it does not matter if the masses believe you or they're willing to just shut you out and blackball you and all those other things. Stand on your convictions. You got the Lord on your side. You will be fine. You don't
Amen.
have to acquiesce to anybody else's agenda or schedule. Do your own thing, but make sure you pray about it first and move with good intent. That's
Thank
what I have.
you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank
you.
you for your
Deep bow to
time.
you.
Ooh, what a great conversation, great vibes, great energy. Exactly what we loved.
Yeah.
And lots of wepa. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Cafecito Break with the Perez sisters with our special guest today, Van Hall from the LFR family. Make sure you connect with him. He is on YouTube doing reaction videos just about every day, right?
Every day I throw them Jones up, man. I would honestly, I would do a lot more, but this, it gets on my nerves too. The political environment, it just
Oh,
You got to
yeah.
pace yourself sometimes.
Tis the season, but at least we're going towards the best season, which is the holidays and good food and hopefully more family gatherings. And this is a great time to reconnect with folks
yeah.
and also make new friends. So thank you, Van. Welcome to the Perez Sisters Circle family.
Thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
ladies.
We
I
love to adopt everyone into the familia.
Yes, yes.
appreciate it. Thank you, ladies.
All right, mi gente. We'll talk soon.
Ciao.
Alrighty.
God bless.
Peace.